Hey y'all, I'm Eric Bell with GameFob.com, and I'm here with Kyle Hebert, as you guys all know, the voice of Ryu. So let me ask you, what made you want to get into just voiceover acting in general?
Love of cartoons, specifically Looney Tunes. Just watching Bugs Bunny and all those cartoons, learning that one guy, Mel Blanc, did all those voices. I was probably 8 years old. My dad introduced me to that and explained the process, and it's like, wow, I think I want to do this one day. So this has literally been a childhood dream and a goal, and I'm living the dream. So I never, growing up in the 70s, video games did not have voices back then. So I had an Atari, and then a ColecoVision, and then a Nintendo, and then eventually video games started talking. And they didn't necessarily hire the best actors in the early days. House of the Dead 2, awesome. Best worst acting ever. No offense to whoever got to act on that. That would have been great to just be like, I'm one of the cheesiest dubs ever of this game. But yeah, I never thought I would grow up and get to not only voice in animation, but also in video games. And I'm a geek. I'm a self-professed geek. I've always loved games. Not that I'm any good, but I'm a button masher by trade. And I certainly never thought I would get something as iconic as Ryu and Street Fighter. And
Oh, of course.
yeah, it's just amazing. And then I've done tons of RPG stuff through the years, and bit parts on Final Fantasy and Resident Evil 5 and 6, and I'm very, very blessed.
Yeah. So it seems though you've been the voice of Ryu. Have you ever ventured out and played the game and fought the guys online with the...
Yeah, I've done that a couple times. I've always reached out to the fans through social media, even before social media existed. Back in the day, it was like Instant Messenger, AOL-IM, and I created a public screen name, and I would just chat with fans, and they were like, wow, I can't believe you're doing this. It's always been a big deal to me to reach out and just give back, because the fans have made the voice actors' jobs possible.
Yeah.
They buy the projects, the products, and we get hired to put our piece of the puzzle together for them, and there's hundreds of unsung heroes that help make these things great. The animators, the writers, the producers, the engineers, directors, and all that, and the actors kind of get the spotlight from it. But it truly is a teamwork sort of thing. So yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's definitely seems like video games have definitely gone through a dramatic change from just being a platform, save the princess, point A to point B, shoot the duck. But now it's like these are full-length stories. These are tales. It's not just Ryu's just some character. Fans are invested in his story, his training. You want to know his relationship with Akuma. You want to know his relationship with his master. So it's very interesting that you are now a part of this now growing form of entertainment.
Yeah, it's interactive entertainment. It's like movies that you can play. There's the extreme cases like Metal Gear Solid 4, I think, where it's like, it's a movie with like 10 seconds of gameplay. But then you get the cutscenes, and then of course you tap X and then get right to the gameplay. But we're thankful as actors that we can explore the characters and give the fans what they want. When they want hours of gameplay and they want hours of backstory and cutscenes, that's what we go through in the process of recording. We'll record all the stuff first. We're staring at basically an Excel spreadsheet or a printed script the size of a phone book. And then when it comes to do the fight sounds, we save that towards the end so we don't blow our voice out. But and we tend to do that, especially Ryu. Man, I have these 4-hour sessions that I would be tearing my voice up. Hadouken! I was like, all right, great, do it again. Hadouken! I was like, all right, do it again. Hadouken! And it's like the guy who voices the Hulk on all the Marvel stuff, his name's Fred Tatasciore. He went to Chinatown in LA and found this miracle cough syrup, this Chinese goop that you just take a couple of spoonfuls full, and it helps you get through a session.
Wow.
And there's different throat sprays and lozenges that help get you through this stuff. And of course, hot tea with lots of honey and lemon and all that to kind of nurture the vocal cords. Of course, you're damaging them by screaming at the top of your lungs constantly. So you usually need a day or so to heal.
Yeah, I've become a little addicted to the remedies and the...
No, not really, because some of them just don't taste that good. I use a throat spray called Singer's Saving Grace. It tastes like ass.
Yeah.
It is really nasty.
I've used Singer's Saving Grace.
Have you? Okay. Yeah. But it works. It cleans the funk off your vocal cords. So if you have to record at 9 a.m. and when you have that morning voice and like, 3 sprays, and then nasty, right? You swallow it, but suddenly your voice is clear.
It's disgusting. When
Yeah.
I did a little. I was in college. I was studying opera,
Yeah.
and so I had to do that all the time. Oh, it's horrible.
Right.
Nasty.
Yeah, I'm a comedian, so I don't have to worry about any of that. So sucks for y'all. But you know, you played tons of voices.
Yeah.
Outside of Ryu, is there any voice you've done that's kind of close to your heart that you had a personal joy of doing?
Well, I got to start this career in voiceover at a time when I was working full-time in radio. Like, that was my other goal as a child. I wanted to be a DJ on the radio. So I got into radio, got a broadcasting degree, internship at a radio network in Dallas, and got to work all sorts of different formats, like top 40, classic middle-of-the-road big band stuff, and then heavy metal, and then kids radio, Radio Disney. Go fig. So I was a Radio Disney DJ, and then in 2000, some of the radio station coworkers found out that Funimation was having open auditions, and they knew how badly I wanted to transition into from behind the mic to behind the mic in a booth, you know, in a different booth, I guess. A padded room with walls that didn't require a straitjacket, you know. So yeah, that was, talk about luck. I was a fan of Dragon Ball Z. From years previously, and I would just go around the house imitating the narrator, and then suddenly, you know, I try out for Teen Gohan, and I get that part, and then I get the narrator, so I get hired to do that, and then I take over the Ox King, and some other like bit parts and stuff, and suddenly I'm getting to travel the world, go to conventions, hang out with fans, and get treated like a rock star for the weekend.
Of course, it was like one of the biggest animes to, you know,
Yes.
as far as for American audiences. It was,
Absolutely. This, you know, Toonami in its heyday back in the day, you know, kids come home after school and you catch Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z, maybe a Gundam show or, you know, all sorts of stuff. A little American stuff thrown in as well, but, you know, a pretty big anime lineup.
Yeah.
And anime is where I cut my teeth, and it's the hardest kind of voice work to do, and it's very underappreciated because it pays so low. And, you know, you get in the cartoon realm and the video game realm that pays hundreds and hundreds of dollars and potentially even more. But, yeah, you're making, you know, $50 an hour or less on average. And,
yeah,
you
it's
know.
pay scale, mostly.
Well, scale for even anime, it could be depressingly low because it's always been low.
Oh, wow.
But that's why our ears perk up a little more when they go, hey, we got a game for you. Like, "Woo!" You're like, oh, we got anime. Like, "Rrr." But I also love doing anime because I've always been a fan of anime. And I appreciate it because it's the most challenging kind of voice work. It may pay the lowest, but because you're acting, doing a character voice, and doing lip sync at the same time, without any rehearsal, you see the line, and then you're performing it. You're like, all right, great, next line. Okay, watch the footage in Japanese once, and then boom, we're going, we're dubbing it.
Wow.
Sometimes it takes one take, sometimes it takes 3 or 4. And yeah, so it's very underappreciated. The folks that just kind of write it off, it's like, oh, that's not real acting, da-da-da-da-da. Like, walk a mile in my shoes, please. It's like, it's tough work, but it's so cool to see the final project on the screen. You know, you see the animation, it's done. It's a little constricting because you can't change the animation. You gotta make the acting and the performance fit the lip sync that's already animated out. But if you do a cartoon like Batman, the animated series, you get to be there with the whole cast and just play off each other, and that's the most fun. That's the holy grail for me.
Yeah, because there's an era of improv that you can use, or
Yes, yeah, you'll do it as scripted. You'll run through a scene like 2 or 3 pages. Like I didn't work on Batman, but I worked on Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Yeah.
So I was Super Skrull on a couple episodes that aired this past summer, and now they've rebooted that series. It's going to be Avengers Assemble.
yeah.
I know, right? It's like, oh, why do they ruin a good thing? But you know, I got hope. You know, some of my compadres from Funimation are actually Avengers now. I got Troy Baker as Hawkeye, Laura Bailey as Black Widow, and Travis Willingham's Thor. Roger Craig Smith from Assassin's Creed is Captain America. He's also the voice of Sonic currently. And so you got a good group. And hopefully, I don't know, I keep on auditioning for them. Maybe I'll get in there again. We'll see. But yeah, it's so much fun. I just geek out. I look around the room, and it's like it could be celebrity, who I consider celebrity VO people that I'm sitting next to. It's like, I can't believe I'm here.
Yes.
Whew.
I got one question. It seems though you've been doing voiceover for so long. If you couldn't be in the film entertainment world, what would you think you would have been doing instead?
Well, I love playing drums. I played drums in high school, marching band, and in the jazz band and all that. So I've got a 5-piece Ludwig with zildjian cymbals and that sitting in storage in Dallas, of course, because when you live in an apartment, you can't play them, right? Yeah. So if I ever make it big and get a nice chunky paycheck, I might get a nice electronic set and put on the headphones and not worry about the rest of the world.
Now, we're gonna be leaving, but I have as an old Dragon Ball Z fan, I feel obligated to ask you if you can say goodbye to our fans from GameFob in the narrator's voice. Could you do that for me? I'm sure you've been asked to do that too many times, but I got it.
All right.
All right. Well, our website is GameFob.com. If you can just say goodbye.
Sure thing. Thanks for watching, and join us next time on GameFob.com.